the presentation?
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe.
Where are they? Oh, the second one, okay.
Yeah. Two minutes till we begin. Don, you gonna do the consent?
Hopefully. I'm gonna do it tonight.
You wanna do the consent?
Why not?
Okay. A lot of reading. Nobody heard you.
The senior center. That's the consent, that's the seniors, I think. Yeah.
You look for the tax,
1 minute.
Yeah, that's for the tax seminar.
You're welcome. I got those for us.
What are these good for?
I know Don wanted one. I wasn't gonna give Don one, not give you guys one.
beg pardon?
You not trying to get in trouble?
Well,
It's too heavy.
okay. This meeting is called to order at 6 o'clock. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. We are being broadcast live over Van Buren Channel 12. We are also on YouTube at this moment. Clerk Wright, would you please call the roll?
Sure will. Trustee Kelly. Here. Trustee Boyden.
Here.
Trustee Martin.
Here.
Trustee Frazier.
Here.
Treasurer Bud.
Here.
The clerk is present. Supervisor,
Here.
we have a quorum.
Thank you, Clerk. The executive summary, this is basically what we're going to be talking about today. We have a consent agenda, which is large. It involves the board meeting minutes, our prepaid list, basically paying our everyday bills. It also is a consultation agreement with Carroll Towels to make sure that our payroll goes fluidly into the new person working there. It is approval of the Recreation Committee reappointments of Kimberly Knopf, Charles Coleman, Stacy English, and Mark Woodson. They serve with Clerk Wright. Approval of the reappointments of Craig Atchison, Christopher Brown, and Don Chappell to the DDA Board. And we also have a new appointment, Angela Renault. She's coming on. She's from A Design Line. We have approval of an adoption of the 24 annual Planning Commission report, very stirring stuff, and approval of the promotional personal service agreement of Bill Miner to be our water and sewer director. There will be presentations today in recognition of Todd O'Neill, who's leaving the Recreation Committee. Amazing time he's done there. Presentation from the Belleville High School Student Council. It'll be on Black History Month. We're also having a tribute presentation to Walt Rehoviak after, I think, 15 years as being working for Commissioner McNamara, and then Commissioner Heides as our Wayne County representative. New business today includes a discussion on the first reading of an ordinance to allow for added height in the Belleville Road Overlay District and additional building setbacks. A discussion will also be on the first reading of an ordinance to amend of article section. Basically, we're updating our ordinances to make them more effective for the people. And finally, we're going to buy some property so we can expand Belleville Road. That's the executive summary today. Moving on, we're going to go to the adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion?
Move to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner Kelly, supported by Treasurer Bud. Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Move on to the adoption of the consent agenda. Clerk Wright,
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the consent agenda, which consists of board minutes of January 21st, 2023, prepaid list of January 22nd, January 23, January 29th, February 4th, February 6th, February 13th, and the voucher list of February 18th, all of 2025. Approval of the management consultant professional service agreement with Cal Tolles. Approval of Recreation Committee appointments of Kimberly North, Charles Coleman, Stacy English, and Mark Woodson with terms to expire February 1st, 2026. Approval of appointments of Craig Atchison, Christopher Brown, and Don Chappell to the DDA Board with term to expire March 9th, 2029. Approval of appointment of Angelica Renaud to the DDA Board to fill the vacant position with the term to expire March 9th, 2027. Approval of the adoption of a report of 2024 Planning Commission activities, public engagement activities, and master plan implementation. And then lastly, approval of the promotional service agreement for Bill Minor.
thank you. Can I get a second for that motion?
Support.
Supported by trustee Martin. I have a motion by clerk Wright. I have support from trustee Martin. Do I have any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Next, we move on to public hearing, which we have none. Now we're into correspondence, announcements, and presentations. I'm going to make two announcements before we begin. First one is I want to make sure that I mentioned Angie Renaud is our new DDA member. She is the owner of A Design Line, and we're looking forward to her joining the DDA. I also want to make mention of Todd O'Neill. I'm sorry.
Is here if you
Oh,
want.
she is? Oh, come on up. I was, yeah, sorry. Yeah, yeah, you're going to be on a committee with me, so I should get used to this. Yeah, yeah. Come on, say, would you like to say a few words or say thank you? I don't know.
Terrible at public speaking, unlike you guys.
Okay, all right.
Everybody said I'm Angie. I'm super excited to be on the DDA and to help the community.
Over to the microphone.
Exciting board to be on. We're doing a lot. Would you come across and shake everybody's hand? Because we're only going to do this once. Oh.
Awkward all the time. It's beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. You're gonna get worked.
Now I can walk out completely.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. No.
Yeah, today you're buying a $600,000 piece of property with your DDA. All right. Oh, I see Clerk Wright's wife is in, Janice is in the audience. Hi, and Judge Martin is here, so it's kind of nice. So let's, we're gonna move on. I want to say a special thing. Do you want to say anything about Todd O'Neill, since he was in your recreation?
Yeah, I guess wouldn't be fitting if I didn't say anything. Todd is, I don't know exactly how many years I know for approximately, 15, I know 15 of the 17 years that I've been clerk, served on the Recreation Committee, which I am the liaison of. He was instrumental in doing the research and development for the Recreation Center, and which was that spearheaded the construction of the Recreation Center, which we had a lot of communications and did research and interviews and list some just try to find out what the people wanted in regards to a recreation center, and we brought that information back to the board, and that spearheaded conversation to erect this beautiful recreation center that we now have. So every commission and committee that we have, even though it may not seem important, the people that sit on these commissions are very important, and our Todd Neal played an important role in what he did, and we appreciate it. Just want to recognize him for his time and effort, which goes a lot of time unthought of. So it's a fitting to recognize him today.
Yeah, we say 16 years, it may have been 20 years he's been here working on this, so it's been a long time. And so, Todd, if you're listening, thank you very much for your time, and we all owe you a little debt, so. I also want to mention, we have Director Bill Miner here. Bill, can you come up? We're only going to shake your hand once. Bill is our new Water and Sewer Director, and we're very, very happy and honored to have him here. That's great. Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Bill. Next we have a tribute to Walt Rahoviak. I believe it's been 15 years or more that Walt has been working with the county. First for 8 years with Wayne County Commissioner Kevin McNamara, the second best commissioner we ever had. So, and then with 8 years for Al Heides, Commissioner Al Heides. And Al Heides, you're here to give him a plaque. Now, come on up, Walt.
Thank you, Supervisor McNamara. Good evening, everyone. It's two reasons I'm here today. Just to honor Walter, he worked with me. I inherit him from Kevin McNamara. And the second thing, it's the important thing, I want to say thank you to Van Buren Citizen for supporting me all those years for last 10 years. And the county commission, and I appreciate that, and thank the trustee and the supervisor, all of you and your staff. I think we work well together. Van Buren, it's one of the great, I have 7 communities. I have the largest district in Wayne County. But working with you guys make it so easy and so simple to get to it and do it. And I'm proud of our relationship, and I can't thank you enough for your support in the past. And, a lot of my friends telling me, now you retire, don't get in any trouble. I said, if I do, I do it in Romulus because I know the judge over there. So no, and Walter worked with me and with the support of his wife, and I enjoy their friendship too. Sometimes we work together, but we build more than working relationship. We became like a family. In fact, my background, I grew up on a farm. When I come to visit them a lot of time, I feel like I'm home. Walter, It's token of my appreciation to you and your family support. I wish you well. I know your wife not gonna let you retire. I didn't listen to my wife and I retired. So one day you have to do that. You are a fantastic person. You did a good job, and I'm glad I have the chance to work with you.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure working with Al for all these years.
We should have a portable microphone.
If your wife lets you.
Thanks. So before Walt became assistant to the county commissioner, he was a longtime trustee here. I'm guessing 12, 16 years? 20 years. 20 years here as a trustee for Van Buren Township. I know I picked him up and he was kind of on, what do I call it? We'll see how it works out with him as my assistant or, working the roads. are trying to work the roads, and the last thing anybody wants is somebody to complain about the roads, and you tell them to go somewhere else to get your road fixed. And I remember the first week he worked for me, and there was a road needed fixed. I said, "Why isn't that road fixed?" He says, "I keep on calling. The road commission says they'll get to it. They'll get to it." So we'll keep on them. I need that road fixed. They're driving me crazy over there. I'll get that road fixed. Next day, I get a phone call from the Wayne County Road Commission going, "You can't have farmers out working on our roads." I go down there on the road, and there's Walt. He took his tractor and his pickup truck with a load of gravel, and he was out there spreading gravel on the road with his tractor. Man, that's the day I said, I'm keeping this guy. But thank you very much for a lot of good years. Thanks, Walt. Thank you.
Yeah, he was on Water Sewer Commission.
He is still on the Water Service Commission. Yes, yeah. Yep. Yeah, then we had a great water sewers group, so. All right, moving on to our Belleville High School Student Council presentation. I'm going to turn this over to Clerk Wright.
All right. Yeah. Okay, before I get to that, I do have one other announcement I'd like to make. So it's the election audit. 2 weeks ago, Wayne County completed the audit for the November presidential election. The audit thoroughly reviewed all procedures ensuring that all seals was accounted for and every signature properly in place. Additionally, auditors conducted a hand count of ballots to verify that results matched precisely with the tabulator's counts. And this is done every presidential year and off-season after a major election. The state determines what our areas are going to be audited, and we was one. I'm proud to share that the audit results was flawless. Wayne County auditors even remarked that ours was one of the best audits they have seen in the county. Excuse me, in the entire county. While I have always known that my staff and election workers are exceptional, receiving such a high praise from the county is especially rewarding. So I want to extend my deepest gratitude to my incredible clerk office staff for their tireless dedication, keen attention to detail, and a commitment to excellence. I also want to do a special thanks for the township employees, which are the clerks that work on our absentee counting board since 2019. Their outstanding efforts were instrumental to our success. And of course, I want to thank our poll workers who put in long hours to ensure that every voter had the opportunity to cast their vote. They are truly the unsung heroes of a smooth and successful election. Now, before we get started with our presentation, I have a few things I would like to say in regards to Black history. As we know, February is Black History Month. It's a time dedicated to recognizing the achievements, contributions, and the resilience of Black individuals throughout history. Black history is more than just a month of reflection. It's also American history. It's a history of perseverance in the face of adversity, of strength in the midst of struggle, and triumph against incredible odds. Many courageous individuals paved the way for us today, sacrificing everything so that people like myself could gain a seat at the table and an opportunity to thrive. Their voices, their actions, and their legacies remind us that the fight of racial equality and social justice is far from over. Black History Month is not just something remembering the past, it's a call to action for the present and for the future. It challenges us to educate ourselves, to speak up, and to continue the work that so many before us started. History is the foundation of our identity. Without history, we don't exist. If we fail to teach our children about the struggles, achievements, and contributions of Black individuals, then we risk erasing those that fought to make a difference. Their stories deserve to be told, their accomplishments deserve to be honored, and their sacrifices must never be forgotten. It wasn't long ago that Black Americans was denied the right to vote. It wasn't long ago that segregation kept communities divided. It wasn't long ago that opportunities was systematically withheld based on the color of our skin of one's skin. The freedoms we enjoy today were hard fought, and it's our duty to honor those who gave their lives for our rights, not just through celebration, but through action. So as we reflect on this month, let us also commit to moving forward with purpose. Let us continue to learn. Let us continue to uplift and to advocate for a future where justice, equality, and opportunity are not just ideals, but reality for all. Thank you. I have a presentation that I think you really is going to enjoy today. I have the honor to introduce three amazing young people. I first got involved with student council a little bit over 12 years ago. In 2012, I started doing the student council election for the high school. This is where I started meeting these young adults and realized that everything that people think about the young people is really not true. We have, if you think back, we had adults say the same thing about us. I don't know what's going to happen with the future. Well, I know what's going to happen with the future. The future's bright, and three of the bright young people standing in front of is going to make sure of that. I introduce to you today Ivana Goff, Braylon Hubbard, and Morgan Liggins. Turn it over to you guys.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Clerk Wright and the Board of Trustees for giving us the opportunity to present to you all tonight. What if I told you all that Black history was more than just fights for freedom? It was more than just protests and fist symbols, but about the intellectual contributions that Black Americans have made not only to American history, but world history as a whole. Today, we are going to explore the contributions of Black Americans beyond fights for freedom. We are Belleville High School Student Council and Leadership Team. My name is Ivana Goff. I am Student Council and Class President at Belleville High School. I'm also National Honor Society Vice President. I'm a part of leadership team and many other organizations at Belleville High School. It was important for me to be here today because of what Black history means to me and how much it resonates with me, as I am Black history. I am the first African American female representative on the Michigan Association of Student Councils and Honor Societies. We meet monthly in Lansing and work closely with the Michigan State Board of Education to bring equitable and accessible policies to students across the state of Michigan. I'll be down in Grand Rapids this weekend to present to over 3,000 students from 99 high schools about student leadership.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad that you gave me the opportunity to be here. I'm Braylon Hubbard. I do things like leadership team, morning announcements. I'm a spokesman for a music program at my school, just certain things like that. The reason why I'm here is that what Black history means to me is power. It means to me that it's just an all-around thing. Black history is not just something we can just look upon. It's something that we have to remember. Because if we remember Black history, then it will stay. Because if we forget it, then it'll be gone forever.
Hello, once again, thank you so much for inviting us here to talk on Black history. This is so important to me because just like the rest of us said, it is something that cannot be lost because it is something that is very important for us, as a society, just to keep reminding ourselves that there are people of color and people not of color that have made so many impacts on America and just our world as a whole. My name is Morgan Liggins, and I participate on the leadership team. I do morning announcements at Belleville High School. I am a Tiger drama actress, and I participate backstage and everything like that. So thank you so much once again.
To start, we're going to talk about our first notable figure in Black history that I'm sure many of you heard of and recognize. That is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was born on January 15th, 1929, which we celebrate each year as Martin Luther King Day. And he was important because he was more than just a reverend. He turned his position as a reverend to be a symbol for not only Black history and civil rights, but a symbol of peace, as he was a recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize, which is a world renowned award. So, once again, another example that Black history goes beyond the scope and the lens of America, but in a worldly lens as well. One of my favorite quotes by Dr. Martin Luther King is, "In the end, we will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." And that resonates because as non-members of the Black community, you too can have an opportunity to lift up and extend a hand and recognize and celebrate and make small actions that build up to meaningful impacts to help your Black brothers and sisters within your communities, within your families who helped you build this country. I wanted to start with a little iceberg analogy that some of you may be familiar with. When you think of an iceberg floating in the ocean, we usually only see that top 10% of it. And when I put this in the scope of Black history, I'm talking about the civil rights and the activism and the protests that we see year after year with Black history. But there's so many more layers that often go unnoticed and unseen. And those are the political reforms, the record breaking, the societal contributions, and most importantly, I believe, is the innovation of Black Americans. We're going to move on to one of our political trailblazers that we want to highlight tonight.
So this man is John Lewis. John Lewis was a trailblazer in American politics, and he was a monumental figure in the civil rights movement. He he did so many things for African Americans. As you can see, he was born February 21st, 1940, and died July 17th, 2020. What John Lewis is, John Lewis was one of the people in the civil rights movement that got us the ability to have civil rights, not just for African Americans, but for women, for people in labor movements, everything. And then after that, he proceeded to do more while being one of the forerunners in African Americans to jump into politics after segregation. A quote from him is, "My dear friends, your vote is precious, almost sacred. What that means is that your vote has power, no matter what you are." Coming from a man who basically spent his whole life just fighting for the right to get his vote, that means a lot to me.
Next one we want to highlight is our very own Clerk Wright. Another example that Black history is all around us, even in our own backyard. Clerk Wright became clerk of Van Buren Township in 2008 and has been loyally serving our community for the past 17 years. He is the first African American to serve as clerk for Van Buren Township and has since won the Clerk of the Year award in 2017. So we want to thank him for his contribution and again celebrate him in being a part of Black history. Black history is more than just a fight for freedom, but the intellectual movement. So now we're going to get into the intellectual revolution and highlight a few important Black innovators that have made our everyday lives easier.
So, this is Garrett Morgan, and he invented the traffic light. Garrett Morgan was born March 4th of 1877, and he died July 27th, 1963. He was an African American inventor, businessman, and community leader, and most well known for inventing the traffic light. The traffic light is not just something that one group of people use, it's something that all of us use. So that shows how it's not just something that the Black community can use or the white community can use or like anything. It's something for the world as a whole. Everyone in every country, everyone in the entire state of the earth is using the traffic light, and it's something so important and something that we need as a society. So, one of the quotes that Garrett Morgan has is, "Don't be pushed around by the fears in your mind," meaning don't allow some words or don't allow you being a minority, being a different type of, you know, sex or being a different type of color. Don't allow that to make you be, on a lower level than anyone else. We all have the same opportunities, and we all can push hard for our goals, hard for our dreams, and can all reach the same place.
Another notable figure is Marie Van Britten Brown. She was the inventor of the home security system. Born on October 30th in 1922, she worked as a nurse, and I think that her story is one of the things that stuck out to me. She was a nurse in the time when the contribution of women in society, let alone the workload, wasn't something that was necessarily a priority, but she rose above and was a contributor to the medical field as a nurse. And beyond that, she found time in her probably very limited free time to invent home security system, which we use in our daily lives to keep us safe and protected, and they even keep this building protected today. One of the quotes by her is, "A woman alone could set off an alarm almost immediately by pushing a button."
This man is Alexander Miles. Alexander Miles was an African American inventor and businessman, best known for his invention of the elevator. Alexander Miles was born May 18th, 1838, and died May 7th, 1918. The reason he sticks out as a powerful figure in Black history is that he was born into a time of slavery. And in the time of slavery, if you know, African Americans weren't legally allowed to know how to read and write. The ability that he had to be able to invent something like the elevator while not technically legally having his right to read and to write was a thing that was really powerful that stuck out to me.
Again, Black history is more than just the fights for freedom, but about the cultural, the innovative, the intellectual movements and contributions that Black Americans have made to American history. I also wanted to take a moment to talk about DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion, especially in today's political climate. DEI is not the relinquishing of qualifications, but it's the opportunity for those in minority groups to be qualified in comparison to majority peers. And I think that often gets misconstrued in conversations about DEI. A helpful analogy that I like to use is about football. I'm sure some of us tune into the NFL. One of our well-known newer dynasty teams is the Kansas City Chiefs. They've gone to the Super Bowl 5 times in the last 6 years. So obviously a good team, lots of skill. Imagine if every year in April for the NFL drafts, they continuously got the best players. We would continuously see Kansas City victories after Kansas City victories, and other teams wouldn't have the opportunity to win or be competitive against this team that seems to be unstoppable, consistently winning. DEI kind of works like the NFL draft. For those of you who don't know, teams that have lower records throughout the year get higher picks in the drafts so that they have the opportunity to get better players. So the worse the team, the less opportunities that those teams that have at winning, they're able to get those opportunities to win with skilled players. So again, it's not saying that, oh, we're just gonna put these players, the best players get to stick with the best teams, but it's about distributing that wealth so that everybody has the opportunity to be satisfied. It's not spoon feeding the winners, but bringing the bowl so that everyone has the opportunity to fill their bellies. Thank you so much for allowing us to present today. Again, if you take away anything from tonight, we just want you all to remember that Black history is American history. Thank you so much.
Oh.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Thank you. All right, thank you.
It's okay, look at that. Look at it.
Thank you.
All right. That was very wonderful, wonderful job. Thank you. We've been meaning to do something, and Clerk Wright said he met this amazing group and brought you here, so thank you.
Just the beginning. Stay tuned.
Okay. All right, public comment. We are now open to public comment from anybody from the public that wishes to to speak on any of the matters before the trustees today. Anybody wish to make public comment? Hearing none, we're going to move on to unfinished business, which we have none. We're now into new business, which is a first reading of an ordinance. Can I get a motion and read the ordinance?
Chair,
Trustee Boynton.
move that we approve of the first reading of ordinance 02-18-2025, number 1, an amendment to the township's zoning ordinance to allow for added height in the Belleville Road Overlay District with additional building setbacks.
Support.
Okay, I've got a motion, I've got support. Director Akers, could you take it?
Yes, good evening, Board. So this request is an amendment to the Township zoning ordinance, which amends the maximum height allowed for structures in the Belleville Road Overlay District. The current standard allows for a 4-story, 40-foot maximum building height, and these standards result in an average floor-to-ceiling height, which is well under 10 feet. Due to this, the standards provide little flexibility for taller buildings or non-flat roof types, which could potentially deter certain types of development. So in order to address that, the text amendment that we have proposed would allow a maximum height increase in this district, from 40 feet to 50 feet, but would require the uppermost story to be recessed at least 10 feet on all sides with street frontage. In addition to this, the front setback for the structure would also need to be increased 2 feet for every additional 1 foot of height. So a public hearing for this amendment was held at the January 22nd, 2025 Planning Commission meeting, where there was no public comment. And the Planning Commission at that meeting recommended that the Board of Trustees adopt this amendment. This concludes my summary. I am available for any questions the board may have.
No, this has already been vetted by the Planning Commission, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, we've got a motion by Trustee Boynton and supported by Trustee Martin. Are there any questions on this? No. Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes on the first reading. You have been wonderful, but if you do not have to sit through the rest of us, would you guys like to go with your parents?
Yeah, but I have 2 items on here.
We're moving on now to, yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah. We're moving on to discussion on, to line item number 2. This is the first reading of an ordinance. Can I get a motion? Trustee Boynton.
I move to approve the first reading of ordinance 02-18-25, I guess that's 2025, number 2, an amendment of Article 5, Property Maintenance Code, to amend Section 18-116 to 18-150.2.
Support.
I'm sorry, Trustee Martin, I'm sorry, I'm watching them leave and saying goodbye to Al. Goodbye, Commissioner Heides. Thank you for coming out. All right, I've got a motion by, wait a second, I'm sorry. Director Akers, your turn.
So Van Buren Township last updated the township's property maintenance code ordinance back in the year 2000. So these standards were originally taken from the International Property Maintenance Code version that was the 2000 version. Since then, there have been several updates. The International Code Council updates building code books every 3 years, and the state of Michigan adopts their building code from these ICC code books. These include the Michigan Building Code, the Michigan Residential Code, and also our plumbing and mechanical code as well. The property maintenance code applies to existing buildings and includes requirements that ensures that a structure is maintained and ensures a minimum level of health and safety for occupants in those buildings, and ultimately better housing stock and home values within a community. Many of the updates over the years have been safety related and provide a reasonable level of health, safety, property protection, and general welfare for occupants of buildings by regulating that maintenance and upkeep of building elements such as the building structure, emergency egress routes, plumbing systems, electrical systems, fire protection, and site conditions. As an example, updates between the 2000 version and the current code books, which are the year 2024, includes provisions such as requiring carbon monoxide detectors in homes and periodic cleaning of dryer vents. The timing of bringing this forward was due to some of the prior discussion the Township Board had regarding overall ordinance enforcement. This updates a critical ordinance that we currently use to address dilapidated and dangerous structures and could use in the future for other inspection programs as directed by the board. This concludes my summary, and I am available for any questions the board may have.
Any questions?
No.
Any questions? Okay, we have a motion by trustee Boynton, and it's been supported by trustee Martin. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
That's the first reading. We'll see it again in 2 weeks. Next item is discussion on consider approval of a resolution to authorize the purchase of property. Can I get a motion?
Through the chair,
Kelly?
I move to consider approval of Resolution 2025-03, authorization purchase of property and signatory on behalf of Van Buren Charter Township for the purchase of 7810 Belleville Road to be paid out of DDA line item 248-000-977-002.
Trustee Frazier was raising his hand. Trustee Frazier?
Yes.
For support? Okay. All right. Director Coburn.
Good evening, Board. I wanted to first say thank you for the reappointments for the DDA Board and the new appointment of DNG. For now, we're looking forward to working with her. So a little history on this property. As you recall, in '23, the DDA began the process to acquire the remaining 14 rights-of-way along Belleville Road between Ecorse and Tyler with our consultant, O.R. Colin. We were able to acquire 4, and after many attempts to contact or negotiate the remaining 10, we would need to seek an alternate course of action. In January 2024, the DDA approved professional services agreement with attorneys Williams, Ratner, and Plunkett to pursue the eminent domain process. As part of the process, the board was asked to approve a resolution of necessity and authorization to commence eminent domain proceedings on May 25th, 2024. To date, we have acquired 7 through settlement. After the approval of this, it'll be 8 through settlement, 5 through, we originally were 3. Last week, we had additional court findings or court hearings, and we were able to secure a total now of 5 through the judgment consent as part of the eminent domain process. And we now currently have 1 in the right-of-way circuit, Wayne County Circuit Court, with hearings are scheduled for in March. That is the last one that we will need for the right-of-way acquisition. And with this property, we've reached a settlement for 7810 Belleville Road in the amount of $602,000. Because this is a full take of for the Belleville Road widening project, the title company has asked for a resolution for purchasing this property. And with this property, the reason is for a full take is it sits so closely to the roadway that with the owner in there, we would need to demolish the home in order to do the road expansion, and that displaces the homeowner. So with that, we would have to, under Uniform Act of 1970, we need to do a full take. So.
Do you have a question? I mean, I could sum up. 20 years now, we've been trying to get the easements. We're down to 1 out there, or 2 if you had this one, okay? And this one is a tough one because they could tie us up for a long time because this isn't just a taking of their front 20 feet. We're taking their house and knocking it down. So we're kind of been forced by the lawyers and told, you're gonna have to buy the property. Now, we obviously probably try to resell the property in a shorter area, but for 20 years, we've been trying to widen Belleville Road. We're real close. Okay.
All right, if I can just give you an update, with this, once we secure the right-of-way, we are on track with our design team with Wade Trim for the design of the project to go to bid in August. And so that would give an awarding of the project in late fall, early winter, with a winter start of clearing for vegetation that needs to be done by March, because we do have an endangered species here in the township, a bat. That is their breeding season starts in March, so we have to clear any trees and vegetation before March. And then with that, we will start a spring construction of the roadway. With that, it will start with the water main, the removal of the existing, which has reached end of life, new water main, expanding the roadway from a 2-lane to a 3-lane with curb and gutter, a 10-foot pathway on the east side of the roadway, and then filling the gaps of a sidewalk from Tyler to E-Course on the west side. So,
And straightening of Tyler Road intersection.
yes, and realigning the intersection with a dedicated left-hand turn lane.
Any other questions? I have a motion by trustee Kelly, supported by trustee Frazier. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Director. We have no reports today. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to make comment at this time? No? Oh, Jason Locke, Director Locke. Our Parks Director.
Good evening, Board. So I just wanted to let everyone know this Friday, the 21st, from 6 to 9 p.m., the Parks Department will be hosting Night Slide, which is our nighttime sledding event at Van Buren Park. So we're going to be lighting up the sled hill for some after-hours sledding under the stars. We'll be giving out free hot chocolate. There's going to be some free giveaways. It's supposed to be a little bit warmer than it is right now, so that's a relief to see that. So we're hoping to see everyone Friday. And
6 to 9.
Get out there for some good winter fun with Van Buren Township. So
Thank you.
Again, 6 to 9 p.m. Friday.
Okay, great. And the sled, the hill's getting some use?
Yeah, it's been active all weekend with the snow, so
Good.
they've been waiting for it. The couple snow blasts we had before, the snow was melting so quick that there wasn't as much opportunity. But they've all weekend they were out there. So.
Okay, any other public comments? Any comments from the board?
Nothing but thanks for doing this, Director, because I remember, it seemed like yesterday, but a long time ago. My kids are grown now, but they used to love to go to that hill, the sled hill, and utilize the snowboard. So it was a good time. I'm sure the kids still enjoyed the same process, because I know mine did. So anyone that's doing that, you have to cherish the moments, because it seems like it's lasts forever, but it don't. So appreciate you for doing this and all the other things that you're doing for the parks. He's doing some amazing stuff, bringing things in that to utilize, like the canoes to utilize the lake for the public and things of that nature that needs to be done to give the general public opportunity to enjoy our facilities in the lakes. We have some stuff that's going to be coming. That's why I said stay tuned. But I think everyone's going to be pleased with. But we need to figure out more things to get our constituents the opportunity to enjoy more of the parks and our beautiful lake that we own.
Any other comments from the board? Hearing none, I need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Boynton? Support. Trustee Boynton has made a motion. Trustee Kelly has supported. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.